Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Combank Arena. It's day 3. The first quarterfinal match is over. Turkey is in the semifinals. In the second match of the day, we have France versus Canada. But before we head into the desk, we have a special delight. Some supporters from Canada. Come on, make some noise! There you go, ladies and gentlemen. A huge support for Canada today. But let's start off with the match. France versus Canada. I mean, it's going to be tough, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win?
Obviously Canada.
Definitely Canada.
Okay, Canada has some amazing skills, but who do you think can make a difference? Which player is going to be the best?
Daps for sure.
Do you agree, guys?
Yeah, Semphis maybe too.
Definitely Semphis.
Okay, Semphis, Dab, someone else, come on.
I honestly think that Kiyoshima is going to be the one who is going to stand on the France side, but I think the Canada has a better overall lineup, and that's why I think they're going to win.
Okay, you were thinking about your answer. That's cool. That's cool. You came prepared. But how far do you think Canada can get? Okay.
Definitely somewhere around the finals, maybe semifinals. I think that's a achievable target.
Do you think that Canada is the biggest favorite for winning the tournament? And if yes, who is the second favorite? Come on.
Yeah, Canada is gonna win it!
Okay, there you have it. Let's head back to the desk. Canada versus France, the second quarterfinal match. Let's go.
Wowza. Those boys, so incredibly passionate. I'm also pretty sure they will cheer for anything. If we've still got a shot on them, can we get a cheer for maple syrup, everybody? Yeah, anything. They'll cheer for anything. Canadian fans, can we get a cheer for ice hockey?
I guess not.
That's it. as they run away. Canada taking on France in 10 minutes' time. Going to be such an important game. Especially, what are they doing, those lads? All right, chill out. You've had your moment. Sit down. The French boys have got a lot to prove as well after a mixed start to the championships. Really, don't we agree?
Yeah, definitely. I thought no one's going to speak.
Yeah.
Well, so
there's no Switch, so like.
Yeah, Switch was there to break the ice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think Canada has a lot of good players, even though, as we mentioned a couple of times, they don't have Shroud, but they have a lot of good players from top NA teams. As we saw in that video before the match, they have players across top NA teams, and they definitely could do some damage here against France.
Yeah, and actually they have a really young talent in Twist, and with him there's Android, who I thought was really young, but it turns out Mega Man had me corrected. He's not that young, but still a really good group of players, a really skilled group of players, and overall they just need a strong leading hand, and that's Dabs. So overall, I think they have a really good team in terms of their roles. Like they have the Semphis on AWP, they have Dabs on the in-game leading stuff. Now, with the addition of Davey, that was running a little bit late. Now they have the lurker that they needed. Like Ocean was good for them, but he's a support kind of a player. He's not, or an in-game leader. He's not the lurker that you need, that has a sick game, he might read the situation, but he might not act on it. And I think with the addition of Davey, today is going to be a brand new day for Canada. I think they're going to perform much better than they did in the previous 2 days.
Risk, in terms of strats,
yes.
Are Canada going to change it up today, do we think?
I think Canada is just going to continue rolling as they did in that group stage, especially in the first day. I was really impressed by the setups and the strategies they were pulling out. Yeah, in general, I just think they're just going to roll through it. France, of course, a strong team, but I think Canada has a bit of an edge here.
Exciting. France taking on Canada very, very shortly. And earlier this week, we spoke to the boys from France, and here's what they had to say.
I don't really feel the pressure because, as I say, we all know each other, so we all trust each other, and that's something really important if you want to win a match. So what's going to happen is I'm going to be the in-game leader, so obviously it's a little bit more pressure on me to guide them, kind of. But if they listen, if they trust me, it should be okay.
Come here just to have fun, because you know it's not like the A lineup, it's not like Shox, Kenny, Happy. So just coming here, having fun and do the best.
I think we did a good job, even if we didn't really qualify, because we've been like taking from the 4th place. But I do think we have like good chances, even with this lineup. It's really different than what we usually bring into the championship. But they're all good players. They're all from the top of the sub-top. It's like, so it should be all right.
We are the underdogs of this tournament. I mean, Denmark have a pretty strong lineup. Turkey as well. Sweden practiced a lot for this tournament. So yeah, we are the underdogs.
I think the big threat at the moment should be Denmark. But there's still a part of my mind who's for Canada and Turkey as well. Yeah. I do feel they have good, like really good lineups as well. And about the others, I don't really know. Even people from Sweden, I actually don't really know them. I never played against those people, so I don't know what to expect. We're obviously not gonna underestimate them. We're gonna play the best CS we can and see what's gonna happen.
Just the fact that every team like play each other to determine the seed for the playoffs, I think it's going to be really important to win every match, so you have bigger chance to go further in the tournament.
Got it all to prove, because I don't know if you remember, but last year they were the winners 2015. So 2016, they're still holding the title, but as we've said for the last couple of days, it's a completely changed French side. So, you know, what we're expecting?
Well, to be honest, this French side has a lot of potential in it, and that's the one thing we have to mention, is that they are not well played together, they're not like fit in their roles, but the potential in some of these players who are in like tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 teams in the French scene, that's really a lot. All the Canadian players are in their best leagues in North America, but the French players, they're growing up, they're learning throughout the tournament, and I think we've seen them day 1, terrible. Day 2, they're better. Day 3, what can they do today? No one really knows, and I think we'll have a lot to see from them.
Well, this is the French side that will be coming on stage very, very soon. Let's talk it through player by player.
Yeah, they have a really good, they have the potential, as you said. They have a good team, but for me, what they're lacking is an all player.
Yes.
Like all the top teams have that AWPer that can. That can turn, and I had a meme right there, they can turn around. Like basically with 3 op kills, the round might be over. And they don't have that player. Kyo is an outstanding player, let's not fool ourselves. He's the best player here, but he's not, I don't think he's able to carry the entire team on his back. I think he has good 4 players around him, but I need to see someone else step up. It could be either Fuchs or Nonick, but someone needs to step up and follow him.
Right then, we are so close now to France taking on Canada, live from the Comeback Arena in Belgrade. Ladies and gentlemen, please go crazy. The reigning champions, it's France, everybody!
I don't want to turn.
Okay, now we're starting with the official program and the presentations of the team's second quarterfinal here in Comeback Arena. First of all, it's so good to see you all, guys. Last year was fantastic in Sava Center. I see you as the game grows. Also, the attendance increased a lot. We've heard from the desk, a lot of things have changed in the French national team in the meantime, but they're still the defenders. They badly want this trophy again. They badly want the first award. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor, as always, to present you with the French national team. Here in Belgrade, their lineup is Simon Florisiak, Fabien Fier, Valentin Balbastro, Matteo Canet, and Alexander Forte. They're the defending champions. That applause can be stronger. Let me hear you for the French national team again. That's good. Our guests from France, in this matchup, they will be representing Europe. Their opponent comes from North America. We will now hear what the Canadians have to say before this matchup against France.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's cool to see like Twitter and stuff where people are like, you know, HLTV comments or whatever you want to read. You know, there's always the Canadians that like want you to win, so you want to like do them proud, I guess. A pretty good chance. I mean, I think the best lineups are probably like Denmark and Denmark probably most like favorites, and then maybe France and then Sweden, and then I'd rank us somewhere below that in terms of like obviously. I think we're like a little bit of an underdog. That people are not going to expect it, but I think we could definitely win.
It's a fun tournament, and hopefully it's just as good as last year. I think you could throw us in there for one of the favorites. I think it's definitely between like Denmark, Turkey, and I don't really know the lineups too well, but I think France could probably still do it again. I think Argentina definitely has the upset potential. They have the passion. To my knowledge, they prepared for this event. Probably like Denmark, France, Turkey, and us.
Feels amazing. I wanted to be here the entire time. So.
I'm going like to Serbia for video games kind of thing, you know, like compared. I mean, it's kind of like Olympics kind of thing, like or the World Cup and like of soccer and stuff. Like I think it's really unique. I think you should do it every single year, to be honest. Yeah, this is a pretty big deal for me, to be honest. I want to win.
I would say they're one of, we're one of the top for sure. We've got very skilled players that have a lot of experience and have traveled all around the world, and you know, I think we got a good squad to bring her home. You got to be confident in your own play, and I think that'll just transition in game, and keeping everything good spirits and all that, I think can go a long ways.
Group of tough guys right behind me, Canadian national team representing North America here in Belgrade. Let me hear you again. A big round of applause for the Canadians representing the Canadian national team. Damian Steele, Corey Friesen, Russell Van Delken, David Stafford, and Bradley Fodor. Guys, welcome to Belgrade. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me please ask you for a few minutes of attention. Please stand up for the national anthems of France and Canada. Anthem of France. Now let's hear a big applause for the national anthem of Canada. Against Canada, starting in a few minutes. National anthems of the teams competing in the second quarterfinal. Guys, please shake your hands here in front of the crowd. That's how it goes. We all hope for a good match. The crowd is ready, the teams are ready. Guys at the desks, are you ready as well? I hope you are. Enjoy.
Almost as those players go and set up, meaning we are less than 10 minutes away until we see Canada take on France. We've already gone through the French side, so what are Canada bringing along today?
Yeah, Canada brings, as we said, a really strong lineup, and they have a lot of potential to win this one. We saw them maybe struggle a bit in the group stage in first 2 days. They're 4-3, if I'm not mistaken, and they had a bit of a lack of performances in the first day because, as Dusan said, Davey was not here, Ocean was playing, and he is the kind of support player, and he said himself, I didn't really come to play, I just want to support them and be behind them, and we'll actually see how they perform here against France.
Yeah, and even talking with Ocean, he said if it was that Dabs didn't manage to come in time, then it's okay. I can step in, take over the in-game leading role, a support role, and that's fine and dandy. But he had to replace Davey, and that's not a small task. And
not a small task at all. Like the one thing I think about the Canadian team is that they have so much in-game experience, and they have so much what do you say, like in-game leader experience as well. So it's a very intelligent team, and can they use that? Can they bring that into the France game? I think they can, and I think they can move that intelligence over towards their fraggers, Twists, and Android X3-2 or 2-3.
For you guys at home that aren't aware of the Canada side, we're going to bring the boys up on screen right now and have our analysts run through them player by player to see what they're going to bring to the game today and see what France are going to have to take on.
Yeah, for Canadian lineup from left to right, we have Semphis, Dabs, Davey, Twists, and Android. Semphis is originally the AWB player for old Cloud9 lineup in 2015, yes. But I think since like departing from Cloud9 lineup, he didn't have his speed. He was underperforming a bit in TSM, but now in the group stage, the first 2 days he was performing really well. And now we have Dabs, the guy we saw in our documentary video about Canada, and he's the captain and in-game leader as far as I know for Canadian team, and he performed really well even though he was in-game leading. Then we have Semphis, a player from TSM, together with Twists, the NA prodigy, as we all want to say. Me and Risk were commenting on that actually, that Twists has a lot of potential, especially if he gets experience from these players, because these players are known players, professional players that play in a top league, and Twists, if he gets that experience from them, he can definitely perform or improve even more.
Yeah, I agree on that, to be honest. The two players standing out for me in this team for different reasons are, of course, Twist, as we talked about. He has so much raw potential and skill. Yeah. And now he has players like Daps, like Semphis, who's played for a long time on a top level, and they can kind of mold him into the role he needs to be, because he's kind of at a point in his career where he can go to any role pretty much. And with two very experienced players like that, they can mold him into the role they need in their teams and in their national team. He's going to be a key factor. But also Daps, as we talked about, very, very intelligent player, and one of these in-game leaders that can frag as well as being very, very smart in the game and calling the shots.
Yeah.
Exciting. Now we go over to the map veto to see what map Canada will be taking on France on. And the French side, what would they want out of this in an ideal world?
Well, I know what they definitely don't want is cash, right?
Yeah, exactly. So cash is probably going to be the first ban.
Yeah, if not first ban, that Canada will probably take that one, because we said that Canada or the NA players love to play that cash, and we'll actually see. France has the first train, so that's a really cool ban from them. I think they banned train. Like, this is 7th time of them.
It makes sense though, because they have a not very strong op side on the French team.
They don't have like any prolific opper, and Canada has, like Semphis, and even on Davey, he's a really good opper as well.
Exactly.
And France just can't compete with that. And I think because of the long range we always talk about, OP is always going to have the advantage over rifles, and even in the set smoke strats, yeah, we see Cobblestone here going. I mean,
this is the first ban of Canada of Cobblestone. I mean, in BO1s, you actually expect them to ban Cobblestone because they want only one map. But in BO3s, they never banned Cobblestone, especially in the NA qualifiers for TWC finals. And it will be interesting to see what France pick here, because I'm definitely sure that Canada is going to pick Cash.
Yeah, exactly. So very interesting to see what they're going to go with.
I don't know why. I feel like it might be Nuke. It even might be Nuke.
Yep, maybe.
And it even might be Overpass. Like, I don't know why, but on Nuke they always perform. Yes, they did fall short against Denmark.
Yeah, there we see Dust2, actually a good choice,
or
to be honest.
Dust2, yeah. But then again, there's an Opera on the other team.
Yeah.
And Dust2 can be a really like good map for an Opera, especially on that long corner when you just pick off guys from short. Like I guess they had the tactic to counter that, but I mean, I'm not really sure about this pick.
There it goes.
Of course, yeah.
Cash, as we talked about,
Yeah.
Cash, of course, always coming out for the North American guys, and this will be basically the home map for Canada, to be honest. They will definitely take a win there. So the question is, can France, first of all, take it on Dust2, and then in the second map? So that's going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, definitely. And for France, it will be interesting to see what they banned here, and they removed that overpass. And that was actually banned of Canada a couple of times in their BO3s. They banned overpass 3 times so far. In BO1s, I think they banned it like 3 or 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. And Canada for the last ban, and they decide what's for decider.
Yeah. I would ban Nuke. I would just ban Nuke. They have more experience on it. They played it more. It's it's a good map for France.
I actually think
yeah,
Mirage.
It had to be a Nuke ban because, I mean, again, we have those 3 standard maps. Dust2, Cash, and Mirage. Overall,
that was painful actually. We had Asian qualifiers, you know, for TWC, and the only maps we saw throughout the whole qualifiers were Dust2, Cash, and Mirage.
Yeah.
Like nothing else coming out.
No,
Let's say
it was like 2 exceptions of Nuke and Cobblestone, like in there, but it was painful to watch, certainly.
France really have been struggling over the last 2 days. They did start to pick it back up yesterday. I feel like this could go either way at this point. If France really pull out the bag, they might be able to clinch a win here. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's going to be pretty close. It's like 55-45 percentage-wise to me, with Canada having a slight edge on this one. Of course, getting that Cash in that second map. So if they take Dust2, they are really on cruise control, to be honest, because Cash is going to be where they are surest of taking that victory. So I think this is going to be a really close game, and I'm really excited for Mirage in the third map, because that could be very exciting. We can see some sick executes coming out from both teams. We can see some mid control. I'm really looking forward to see how they're going to play the AWP on the French team. Is it going to be XMS? Is it going to be Miss2? I think it's going to be Miss2 on the main AWP, but how they're going to run if they run two AWP setups, that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And interesting thing to note is on professional level, we know that NA guys have a struggle winning against the European guys, and that's why we had that joke, NA CS and stuff like that. But they have a really good players, and France, as we said, they didn't brought their best players because they have obligations with their team and whatnot. And
yeah, and the biggest part about that, too, is, like you said, the economic damage. It's a shame that Canada didn't actually get the plant in the opening round to go for a force into this round, because the buyout for the CT side of France is going to be pretty abysmal looking at it, because you can see only 2 players have over $4,000. So they're going to either go back onto the SMGs into this one, or they're going to have a limited buy with rifles and hardly any utility. But it will be, for the most part, a vanilla round for Canada. They're not going to be able to invest too much into this because they want that big, meaty buy going into the next round. They want Semphis with the AWP. They want the AKs across the board. And it's going to be really interesting as well when you get onto the next half of this, because the analyst has touched on this. Davey, he was actually a main AWPer for a brief period of time. And they actually have 3 players on that team that have been IGLs at one point or another. Semphis for TSM, Daps for Optic, and Davey when he was playing for Splice, or still plays for Splice. But he used to IGL for them back in the day a little while. So a lot of people that can make some mid-round calls and kind of revamp strats for them, especially when they get on the CT side, when they might go down a man. to be able to get their rotates on point. So it'll be very fascinating to see that. And you can see Keo sitting in the middle. He's doing a lot of talking right now, so he's potentially going to be IGL for the French side.
I think with the amount of experience he brings to this lineup, it would only make sense, and I think these guys have to respect him for that sense. He's a head honcho. He's a hotshot. And you have to give him credit where credit is due.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, he brings a lot to the table. It's like you said, he's got the experience, a two-time major champion, you know, but on the adverse side, France has actually struggled a lot in this tournament. They actually started off, was it 0-2? They didn't get a map win until their third. Even Denmark started off pretty slow, but they are going to force. This is actually really cool to see because they know that it's going to be a lackluster buy for the CT side. And Davey with the scout, he's going to be able to tag up XMS at the start of the round, drops him down to 66. And this is, France might be shaking in their boots a little bit because now they know that with that scout on the field that it's going to be a buy round from Canada.
And look at this, Canada looking to exploit, of course, that cap push just as they had in the previous round. Keo already waiting on the site. He will have support by 2 players being over towards Long. Now, if Canada aren't able to split this out from Long and Catwalk, this could serve to the favor of the defense. But Keo looking to get a little bit aggressive, putting down a smoke grenade and closing that distance, spotting Android and dealing some damage, but he's going to reel back and fall in town towards CT spawn. So Canada going to do the same. Disengage, there's still a minute and 10 on the clock. They have plenty of time to do as they please.
Yeah, the big thing is I don't think Simphis has fired off a round from that AK, so they don't know that it's in play just yet. They know that there's Tech 9s, they know that there's potentially a scout as XMS was chipped down early on in the round, but we'll have to see how Canada revamps this. It looks like they're they're leaving the bomb alone on Cat. I'm not sure I really like this. It's probably going to be Daps to come around from lower B and join up with him on Catwalk, and you see Android actually falling back from this. So they could potentially go back around for a long A hit. They've got a good amount of utility on the terrorist side for Canada as well, and with Daps throwing a little bit of a distraction down into CT spawn, the flashbang comes out, Fuchs is going to fall back into pit, and now they're going to be clearing out all of their angles. They lead with Simphis with the AK-47 to try to soften him up, but that's a nice shot from Fuchs from pit, takes him down to 10 HP, and now that AK is going to be very, very difficult to get going, but Daps coming up Catwalk gets shut down, and you can see how France is already pushing around in that area to take over Cat control for a potential retake.
I mean, the nicest thing there is it's the only M4 is taken out early, but now France with 2 more as XMS and Yistu connect the shots on the cross. It's Davey coming up the ramp, and he too's drops Simphis, the last man standing, with only 10 points of health. He has to disengage, and now is the scary situation. They've invested so heavily, the time not working out for them. It's just, unfortunately, a stop on that cross, and even after they drop that M4, the buy doesn't work, and now Canada's in a sticky spot.
Yeah, the only saving grace from that is the fact that Simphis is able to survive with the head armor and with the AK going into the next round. I didn't see what utility he's carrying over, if he was able to pick up any nades off of any of his fallen teammates, but that could be a little bit of a game changer going into the next round. Now, it wasn't effective last round, but going into this one, he might be able to find a couple of opening picks, get some entry frags with it, and potentially shut down any of the defense, because they've been hitting that Catwalk time and time again, and they found some resistance in the last round. They decided to fall back and try their hands at Long, and it kind of got shut down. So where do they go from that? We haven't seen a mid-B split. We haven't seen hardly any presence in B tunnels at all. And I'd like to see, you know, maybe a mid-B split or maybe a drop down into CT spawn to try to get a little bit more traction up into the A bomb site. But we'll have to see. It looks like they're going to invest just a little bit into this round and keep Simphis alive and potentially have a buy round into the next one. But Simphis on only $100. But with that money bonus starting to stack up a little bit, he's going to have an opportunity.
Ooh. Android takes a lot of damage. Look at this, France just going with the sheer aggression, trying to take the fight directly to Canada.
Depths.
And they very well could, but Keo, he's going to be finding himself an assist as Nodek knuckles down the first, and Keo coming back now has to deal with lower, and XMS going to be peeking wide, trying to help out. They have cleared out Canada from the bottom of the tunnels. It's only 2 players left standing here for the Canadian team. Davey at full HP with Simphis, AK, and Android also out of the equation, leaves it in a 1v5. But they have to be cautious because he's going to be able to take at least one. It is still, however, France to convert the 4th.
Yeah, but that's not really much out of the round in the grand scheme of things, considering that the money is starting to pile up for the Frenchman. $8,300 before Nonix's buy down, so he's going to be left at right around 4K when all is said and done. And a quick look at this last frag from Davey. Nice return frag from XMS, has it lined up. He only had the scout into the last round, but this time around it's actually Keo. He's still on this MP9.
Yeah, that's a very confident play, but obviously an opportunity to make some more bank and continue forward with this momentum, that early bit of economic form. Now, Keo also getting aggressive, trying to grab information, so if he were to go down here, it wouldn't be much of a loss, considering he does still have that MP9, but Canada going to be taking this one slowly. They spread themselves across the map, play for the control, and with players over towards the B site, they do have bomb nearby.
Let's see what they decide to do on the Canadian side. They are looking to get a little bit of traction down here in the bottom side of mid. It's only Davey that's down there right now. 2 players outside of long A. And that smoke is going to hold them back for just a little while longer. They're not going to get too far out of this one. And Davey, close quarters, Keo around the corner. He's going to pounce. He takes him down, gets an AK for his troubles. So that MP9 pays off $600 and a $2,700 exchange. Going to be able to find himself a AK to work with, to play around with for the rest of this round. And again, Canada with the disadvantage early in the round.
It's tough, but at least they do still have this cat presence. Now the player closest is going to be Keo, this time with an AK-47. He's just sitting on CT, looking to play that pick. They, of course, have the support from ramp as well, as Nonik is cautiously applying himself and using that barrel for some cover. But the incendiary, again, going to be burning this down. And Canada has been actually shut down at the beginning of these rounds time and time again. The clock being another additional opponent, in addition to, of course, the 5 Frenchmen. But now the utility coming out, it's going to be 3 players already starting to get the cross, but the flashbang connects, and that's the first. Nonik going to be taking down Twist. Keo spraying wildly through the smoke, and Nonik with a second, and it's Canada just falling one after another. At least a 2v4.
Yeah, Semphis able to get a return frag, but he still only has a scout, and they have yet to get the bomb plant, but Semphis finds another, makes it only a man advantage now for the Frenchman, but already the flank comes out. It's going to be XMS on Cat to find Semphis, takes him down, and now it's going to be on Android. He peeks his head out, and XMS is going to be able to find that frag. And with that, it's another round for France.
Things are getting scary. Unfortunately, of course, for Canada is that they haven't been finding themselves in very many, if any, advantageous positions. Not at the beginning of the rounds, not in the later bits of the rounds. It has been France all over this one thus far. And it's, of course, the T side of Dust2. It's time to kind of start getting some rounds up onto the board. It's been costly.
Yeah, these shots from XMS to close it down. A couple of 2-tap dirt naps right there, and that's going to be the 5-0 scoreline for France. And at this point, I mean, the money bonus is starting to ramp up. Semphis, this is the first time in the matchup that we've seen him with the AWP, so we'll see what kind of a difference that can make. We saw him with the scout in the last round find a couple of really nice picks over towards that A bomb site, but this time around, he's going to have that one-shot potential with it. He doesn't have to go for the headshots. And we'll see if he's going to be able to rack up some more kills into this, but right now, I mean, where has Twist been? That's like the... I'm fizzling here. There we go. That's been one of the game changers for the Canadian side, is his impact into some of these rounds, and I haven't really seen it yet.
Unfortunately here again, Canada are kind of playing this one slowly. They haven't been all too explosive. Even with the smoke grenades being normally put down by Catwalk, they've had to revert back to just waiting. This time, however, there's nobody for the side of France actually on the A site or even near the cross by Game Helper. Instead, they have a 2-player crossover towards that long play where there are 3 Canadians attempting to push. But the first charge is going to come in the form of Dabs. He lays down that smoke grenade, gives himself some cover, and now they're looking to synchronize it with the long push. But it's Fuchs to drop. Twist with a headshot. Where is he? Right there. And Nonik now revealing his position to the trade frag of Semphis. It's a 4 versus 3, and Canada finally here in round 6 have themselves an opportunity. Keo still playing from the bottom of CT, spots the cross and also saw the shadow, but he catches the head of Daps, and now things equalize back into this 3 versus 3.
Yeah, a little bit of an overpeak there from Daps, but Davey coming down into CT spawn. He's going to be able to finally chime in and take down Keo. And now it's going to be that man advantage. Semphis at long A, going to be looking for these players to come back around the corner. Barely misses that shot, but now he knows exactly where at least one of them is coming from. Doesn't realize that they're both there, so he's going to line this up. Misses another shot. See if he can lock this down. He's got support from Android in the site. The distraction is true. Can he land the shot? It's going to be Android with one and the other. And finally, Canada find themselves on the board.
Yeah, I mean, everything kind of goes their way that time. The key, in my opinion, is the fact that Catwalk was wide open.
Yeah.
It kind of allows them the ability to not only find that first bit of long presence with the frag from Twist, but then also it helps that Android is able to bail Semphis out of a very difficult situation, finding those last 2 cleanups. And Semphis, unfortunately, missing a couple of those shots throughout the round, but what he hits is the one on the trade on the blue box, which, of course, counts the most.
Yeah, that was a very important round for Canada to pick up. Oh, Misu almost does get the collateral. He actually hit Davey through his teammate, and close up and personal XMS is going to be able to spray down one. Looking for some more, drops out the Molotov. He's still alive. The counter flash comes in for a moment, but Twist is finally going to be able to equalize things into a 3v3, but look at the HP. And out in front of the smoke is going to be Nonik. He almost gets back out, but Davey's going to be able to chime in with another. Keo, you're burning. You're down to 52 HP now, but he is up there in window. He's going to have the AWP. Tries to lay out a little bit of spam, and Davey down to 7 HP still. We've got ourselves a bit of a stalemate in this B-bomb site. Finally, a resmoke goes out onto double doors. Keo's going to have to fall back as the Molotov rains in towards window. He's just going to try to pop off a couple of shots there through double doors, but for now, ooh, that's a cheeky molly.
That's going to force push Davey underneath the window. He's still holding here as Keo is just looking to find himself off the entry. Nice pop flash from Fuchs. Keo going to be trying to play off of it as Semphis is blinded, but still looking to support. He will not find the shot. Davey going to get it, and there's the follow-up. That's Canada, not only with one, but a consecutive second, which is exactly what they needed to have a chance with some momentum. Of course, you can see now the money on the side of France not going to be able to purchase up much. And that's an excellent shot from Mistu. It's unfortunate, of course, that he doesn't grab both because it's Davey who actually trades the frag.
Yeah. And not only that, but Davey also got, I mean, he was down to 16 health and he got a second kill in that round as well. Third, actually, when Keo came through the window. So really nice recovery here from Canada. And this is a golden opportunity for him because if they can keep the money down on the French side and continue to reset them, and things are going to start looking really good. And look at this push coming out from lower B. It's going to be Daps. He's got that Mac 10 in hand, trying to do that economic damage, trying to find as much money into the round as he can. And he will get at least $600 for the time being. NoNick goes down. And Daps is going to have himself a little bit of cat control, peeking around the corner spots. Keo abates down to the CT spawn, and now he's going to continue to push on out. Doesn't spot Keo in the corner, but he is going to be able to finally rectify his aim and finds that frag as Android takes down Mistu to revenge his fallen comrade. And there it is. That was actually 3 SMG kills on the round, so decent money farmed there from Canada.
France, of course, not looking for too much into that one. Unfortunately for them, they don't even find frags. That's childish. Yes. Canada still 3 rounds consecutive. Excellent stuff as they're now given the real chance back into this game. France had the opportunity for a lockdown, but Semphis through the smoke, through the doors, dropping Mistu, and already there's only 4 standing still for the side of France. Canada already out from long, but they're incredibly flashed. Fuchs, unable to spray those players, is going to die. Twist again, creating space out here from long doors. Keo playing over towards the car. Unfortunately, he is so pinned down, and NoNick still distracted with the player towards B. Keo going wide, deals damage, but no frags, and it is Canada yet again as NoNick reels backwards with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, he's going to have to fall back. The only saving grace is that he does pick up the AWP off of his fallen comrade at B. And that was just, I mean, that's Davey doing Davey things right there. You know, they push up aggressively towards long A. They get that opening pick on Semphis, and then immediately Davey just charges into the B bomb site because either it's going to be left very, very wounded as far as their defense with only 1 player over there, or he's going to be able to distract them long enough for them to push around long A and try to get a trade fight going with 4 players potentially fighting against 2. But NoNick, is he going to be able to get out of this? Android and Twist coming around the corner. They see the smoke come out, and there's the frag, but is he going to be ready for this player from T-Spawn? Twist biding their time right now. They throw out another deep smoke. They're going to try to push around from behind this. Semphis coming around the corner. They're pinching on him, and they do take him down, so no joy for the Frenchmen as they drop all of the weapons out of their hands in Canada with 4 rounds in a row now. NoNick sitting at 14-8, leading the charge for the Frenchmen, but the rest of them a little bit slow to the party.
And unfortunately for France, it's going to be another pistol round for them, only having, of course, those upgraded weapons. It's no primaries, very little purchase, which very well does lend things back into the favor of Canada. Again, we are looking at a potential 5-0 to 5-5. Which would be incredibly unfortunate for the Frenchmen as Semphis also finds the collateral, and now as well as XMS falls over here towards B. The bomb is nowhere to be found, but this is still France, completely distracted. Mistu, sneaky beaky.
It just ran right through the site. Oh my goodness, that would have been such a great ninja play, but it doesn't even matter. Now he's going to show his hand. He's the last man standing. He goes down to Android. I like what he was thinking about there, but they just bum rushed all the way through the site. There wasn't even the bomb on the back of any of the players, and they just pushed right into middle. So as sneaky as it was, nothing fruitful comes from it. We are going to be all tied up square, 10 rounds deep, 5-5. And we knew that this matchup was going to be close, and we figured that it was going to go all 3 maps. And this is a great way to kick this one off.
Semphis not going to be finding himself a mid pick this time, and also on the side of France, they have an AWP, but it's not challenging for mid. It's a long presence once more. The flashbangs connecting yet again, but Davey with a frag this time off the SG. Looking for a second as well as Fuchs is still on the other side of the smoke, spraying wildly at all of these targets, but not able to kill any. NoNick finally chiming in for the side of France as it finds itself to the 4 versus 2. It's only XMS and Mistu, but he does have the AWP on the cross and a gap to play with.
It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to go for this one. They're slowly bringing the bomb back through long A corridor. So if they do bring it all the way back in towards mid, they could potentially go for that B bomb site. The re-smoke onto mid, though, or onto long A. That's going to cover up that gap, and now you can see they're starting to get a little more aggressive in mid, so Daps is going to relay this information. That's a nice headshot onto Mistu, takes him down. The AWP is now out of hand, and he also spotted XMS over there around the corner, but he doesn't realize that he's actually pushed up through double doors. The flashbang is on point, though. XMS is going to be able to adjust and find the frag in the long run, but he's so gravely injured that it's going to be very difficult for him to go for a 3v1 retake, especially with Android still sitting at 81 HP, and they're going to go for the hunt a little bit here, and XMS will fall.
I was going to say, being at such low health, XMS was already in a disadvantage, but at least with the AWP, he could have maybe found that pick, only needing to connect the one kill, or shot rather, but unfortunately then he misses the opportunity and dies accordingly. So no weapon saved here for the Frenchmen as Canada find themselves in the lead.
Yeah, 6 rounds in a row now. They're looking sharp. From a pretty stagnant start that we saw at the beginning of this one, they weren't really able to do too much, and now we've actually got a double op set up here along with the SG, so 3 scoped rifles, not the most conventional setup for the T side, but it'll be interesting to say the least, but it is, again, a save for France, and this is what I was talking about like 4 rounds ago, is if Canada can start to disrupt the money for the French side, then it's going to be a lot easier for them to get back into this, and they have done that. They've gone whole hog on these last couple of rounds, 6 in a row for them.
Daps looking to play in towards mid, as obviously Keo's now dropped down to 77, just rattling off some deagle shots of his own. Canada looking to play this one incredibly slowly, which is nice because they're giving the respect to France. They know, of course, that not only they have this 6-round momentum, but because of that momentum, they also have a very nice economic backbone, and they can't afford to lose it, or at least playing to reserve it. Semphis still looking to play off of mid. Keo on the other side of the smoke has at least given himself a bit of cover, and Canada still now only has a minute to play with.
Yeah, but he overexposes himself, and Keo is going to get punished for that. Semphis takes him down. Much to Keo's chagrin, he wasn't able to find any real strong connections with that deagle. Semphis is down to 41 HP, but here comes that mid-B split that we were talking about earlier, and there's only one player to defend this. It's XMS with the Desert Eagle of his own. See if he can get anything out of this. He's just going to crouch down onto the window, and there's the frag. Davey finds one as well on these two as they rotate on in, and Davey with a second one. Since when is the SG a viable weapon?
Statistically speaking, it's one of the better weapons of the game, right? It comes down to just utilization.
But you hardly ever see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the buy, though.
Could have been a mistake. Who knows? Davey now, it's out of the equation, so we'll see, of course, if they do pick it up intentionally. But Fuchs has got close and with the 5-7 deadly, but it's Daps who clears things out. 7 in a row now. Canada with the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, absolutely. This is quite the recovery from these guys as well. I mean, coming back from a 5-0 deficit, rattling off 7 rounds in a row. I mean, typically this is a relatively even map. It's one of the more even maps in the map pool. You'll see a 9-6 scoreline, 8-7 is not out of the realm of possibility. And Davey is buying this intentionally.
Yep, that's what makes this incredibly
interesting. It's got to be intentional because, I mean, the seasoned veteran such as himself isn't going to mistake an SG key for an AK key.
This is 3 rounds now that France has actually gone for this 3-player long A presence. This time they do rotate back, but they've been trying to kind of stop Canada in their tracks, and it's nice to see that Canada have remained dynamic in the sense that they used that mid to B in the previous round. It's kind of keeping France on their toes and clearly not panning out, but it is a double op setup on the side of France and Canada.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, and this is actually an interesting smoke. This is an interesting smoke on the B-bomb site for Davey to work around. This is something that we saw Valde do a lot for the Denmark side. Daps finds the opener onto Fuchs, so that's a nice little bit of a find early on. But Misu, he has yet to show his hand, and there it is, finally going to pounce, and he will find the trade frag, but he hasn't been able to find the connection on the twist just yet. So it's going to come down into a 3v3. Still a double op setup for the CT side. Misu and Keo are both going to be having those in hand. And they've only got Semphis to deal with, who's just, you know, strolling around in mid for the time being.
Yeah, exactly, right? He has the time to do exactly this. There's still 50 seconds on the clock, so Canada, I like that they don't, of course, try to force the envelope over there towards B. Instead, regroup themselves, and now they are set over here towards long. 3 players already starting to come out. It's Daps off the charge. He has, of course, the utility to still play not only for the cross, but they can burn out this site if need be. Keo going to be sitting behind these boxes, and it's all on him to buy some time. Canada lining up and starting to cross now. Keo changing weapons at an awful moment, and Daps with a headshot, but no Nick through the smoke. Excellent flash and a frag. Semphis down and out. Refrag back by Twist. Daps and Twist on the site with only a Molotov to play with, as Mistu in hand has the op and heads himself towards long.
Yeah, they did plant 4 long plat, but Misu is going to be coming around from that angle. So this isn't necessarily the most friendly plant for Canada, and Misu is taking the proper avenue of attack here with the AWP towards long A. Trying to find out some players, just misses the head on Twist, who is down behind the box. That looked like it was going to be on him, but just a hair off. And he's going to he's going to fall back from that one. A little too close for comfort. And now Daps with an AWP. Not the most conventional AWP player, but he's just going to be trying to lock down Long A. And now you can see Mistu falling back from this one. And, you know, we talked about some of the struggles here. Kia with only 4 frags, Fuchs with 4 frags, Mistu with only 5. It's been NoNick. We talked about him stepping up, and unfortunately, he doesn't really have his team behind him. He's got 16 kills, but where is everybody else? We got to get rid of that sign.
I mean, they need to show up. Unfortunately, Canada has 3 players near the topper echelon of fragging, right? We've got, of course, Sempis and Davy on 12, and then Android at 10, and it's obviously potentially just that little bit of a difference that could be making the difference. It's also similar to, of course, when we saw Canada plays Denmark. The frags was just Valde making that small difference, and this is the kind of map that lends itself to that play. So Canada's still in charge as it's now 8 consecutive, and only Mistu with that op. It's armor and pistols across the board, however, for the remainder of France, and Mistu finding the first, getting aggressive over here towards Cat, drops out Semphis, and accordingly the op, 4 AK still left standing here for Canada as they apply some pressure over towards B. They will fall back to retrieve the bomb.
Yeah, rightfully so. They get smoked off in that choke point. There's 3 players from the CT side that are over in that area, so the smart decision is going to be go back, fall back, head towards that A-bomb site. And Daps is going to pick up the AWP falling off of Semphis. And unfortunately, Mistu is going to nail the timing on that one, takes him down. That's 2 on the round for him. And they keep walking into the only rifle that's on the board here for the French side. So they're just handing some kills away.
Oh, Fuchs, he had the opportunity, of course, to take one with the pistol, being so close, but it's Mistu with the repeat, and now a 3 frag in the round. He has single-handedly stopped Canada, or at least wounded them as Twist now with an opportunity. Android helping out, but they have to be cautious of Keo as he is behind them. And now with XMS falling, the B site should be open wide. Mistu, however, still in CT, not going to be able to spot the players. Keo coming out from tunnels now, sees Twist, drops him out. Android with the plant, the 1 versus 2, AK and 60 points of health, but France looking to synchronize the peaks. It's going to be Keo behind the box. He drops first, but the reload for Android costs him his life, and France have bounced back with Mistu carrying them there.
Yeah, what a massive round. We just talked about him last round only having 5 kills. He comes up with a big quad kill in the round. Completely flips it on its head. I mean, 3 big op frags there. And I want to say it was a bit of a mistake from Canada because he had that, he already showed the op presence on catwalk, getting aggressive, finding one on short. And then he falls back, and what's one of the most common angles that you see, it's something Kenny S does, Guardian does a lot of times, is going to play up there on top of that little awning there, or that little ledge, so that they can actually try to find something. But look at this, 3 ops and the auto sniper for the Canadian side, and rattling off some shots. They actually connect on NoNick, so he's down to 42.
With all that cash flow, why not try it? And at least does pan out in that initial bits of damage, but it's Mistu again trying to use this very same angle that find him the frag onto Semphis in the previous round. Instead, he's found nothing, as Canada does have 3 players grouped up over here towards Long, looking to potentially have this mid play, but the flashbang does buy time, and this time it's Daps to take the frag. It is Canada not only in the 5 versus 4, but still having NoNick tag means, of course, that they can extend this advantage. Daps over here towards mid, looking to play a bit of a thorn in the side of France, but he has to be cautious, as there are players near.
Yeah, nobody's actually spotting for this one right now, so he could potentially get this cross out and find this player that's close on the wall. There's a nice pop flash though, XMS. He doesn't overpeak though, so he has no idea that Daps is here, and now he's going to start to fall back. He gets caught out with a nade in his hands, and Daps is going to pounce, finds the frag, and now mid has been compromised. The split is more than welcome from the Canadian side as they're going to start pushing in towards this B-bomb site, and it's all on NoNick to lock this down. He was hurt at the beginning of the round, and he will fall. Android finds it. Long spray fight from Daps, but he's just keeping him honest there in CT, but Keo, all right, finds another frag. Still a man advantage for the Canadians, and they finally do get the bomb plant, and all the way over there in T-spawn is going to be Semphis, who does, I believe, lay a tag out on Fuchs.
Yeah, now at least Canada do still have a Molotov, smoke grenades as well to just kind of keep France out of this bomb site. It's the very last round of the half, so eventually they're going to have to try this, but they do still have a smoke of their own. Where do they play it, however, as Android is still tagged incredibly low, Semphis sitting at 52. It's possible here that France retakes this. They've got the kits, but the timing just playing against them ever so slowly. They need to start pushing in. Twist going to be stopping the first, and now Android dropped. It's a refrag from both teams as Canada take the 3-round lead heading into the second half.
And what a recovery it was for Canada I mean, starting off 0-5 against France, and then they get their poise. They start to get their rhythm, and they start finding these frags, finding these rounds, slowly grinding down that economy of the Frenchmen. And you could see how that impacted that half. They weren't able to formulate a lot of really strong buys. They were lacking utility in a lot of them. They tried to go for the double up setup, didn't work out for the Frenchmen. So a 9-6 halftime score. If France picks up the pistol round here, they could potentially bring this back to even strength at a 9-9. But I mean, we've seen some pretty solid pistol work out of Canada throughout this. I believe in their opening 3 maps of this beginning stages of this in the group stages, they went 4 out of 5 pistols. I think it was 5 out of 6 pistol round victories, so it'll be interesting.
Ooh, Android able to find the first kill of the round, but Nonik able to trade accordingly. It's a 4 versus 4 as Canada still hold these 2 players inside the B site. Now, France may be assuming, of course, that there's only one man here, but it's going to be Daps and Davey, and Davey has to play this properly. He's got the corner, and he has Daps to pull their attention away, but Daps now falling to XMS, and Davey's not seen. He will play it slowly. It's Canada coming in from the door, and Davey finds the first, Semphis finds the second, and Keo unable to deal with it quickly. He will whip round and find it back to the 2 versus 2, as Canada has still been able to prevent this plan.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten into the B bomb site. It's just so chaotic right now. Canada just keeping them off of planting the bomb, and they're going to even fake it out right now because they're still not sure how aggressive Canada is going to play this. And you can see they're actually falling back to go for the double-pronged retake approach. And with Semphis coming around from back plant, there's a player sitting right in the open. Hi, Keo, how you doing?
Oh,
Gonna pop a couple of shots here, and he will finally fall. It's gonna be Fuchs, and I like this strategy. He gets himself outside the double doors. He's taking the peaks, though, and he's gonna lose the battle. A little unnecessary there from Fuchs, and Canada pick up the second half pistol, so they split pistol rounds, but this gives Canada a golden opportunity to move forward. France, though, with that bomb plant, look for that 3rd round buy-up.
I mean, I'm assuming at this point, Fuchs is assuming, of course, that Semphis is tagged up, right? He was gushed by Keo before he went down with only 15 points of health. A single stray shot from that Glock would have taken Semphis down, but he dances round the danger and survives.
Yeah. I mean, he was basically Neo from the Matrix there, dodging bullets. I mean, one shot might have actually taken him down, but an AWP second round?
Why not? Semphis feeling it. And of course, versus France, they're going to have these pistols. It would be great for them to take that from his hands, and if they can even prevent the save, it'd be fantastic. So this is a very risky purchase, but of course it could pan out. They do still have the MP9 on Daps, a bit of utility across the board for Canada, but it's all FAMASes other than that.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. Daps, though, playing close here on mid double doors, and if they do potentially push out from here, they don't have any utility for the France side. So no smokes for CT, no flashes to push anybody back or to blind them for a quick peek towards mid. And looks like they're going to gear up for catwalk, so this is going to be interesting. You have Twist over there in the site, FAMAS in hand, so 25 bullets to work with, and you've got Semphis playing that long corridor, he's peeking towards long double doors right now, but he can be mobile, he can go back towards car and try to pick these players off as they come back around, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to be in prime position, and there it is, nice flick shot, but Keo with the deagle takes him down immediately afterwards. Lining him up though and knocking him down is going to be Twist. He finds one, finds a second one, traded by Fuchs, and it's going to come down to the man advantage now for the Canadian side. See if they can shut this one down, but it's going to be difficult. These deagles have been wreaking havoc.
Yeah, I mean, at least France find the plant, and Fuchs with another headshot. It's a 2 versus 1 as Mistu takes a P250 as well. Just down to Davey. He's got the FAMAS, and he has a tag target already in his scopes. Fuchs going to be playing from catwalk. Mistu tapping away with a P250, but Davey closing the distance now. He finds the first up close. That's Mistu out of the equation. Fuchs as well over for Cat. He's got to peek this wide because he's tapped the bomb, and Davey comes back. An excellent 1v2 clutch for Canada.
Yeah, but it should have never been that close. I mean, some great deagle work there. Keo with that ripper right there onto Semphis. I mean, one and done. It was a sick shot from Semphis, too, to find Nonik. And then Twist doing everything that he can. He does manage to find 2 kills in this position, but, I mean, eventually overwhelmed by the mobility of the pistols and finally taken down. So we will see Canada figure it out. They get the clutch. They find themselves in 11th round. But here's that AK buy down that I was telling you guys about because they got the bomb plant. Now, they don't have any big scoped rifles on the T side for France right now, but what they do have is an abundance of utility.
This is really nice from Canada as well. Twist.
They could get caught.
Going to be pushing to the top of mid, and they get tagged, actually. That was Semphis. That's team damage dealt, but now that's, of course, going to be make Francing wondering what exactly is going on as Keo from the bottom tunnels cannot spot these players. Canada dodging what could have been an awful situation.
Yeah, they got really lucky there, and Semphis a little bit quick on the trigger finger there. Does find a little bit of damage onto Davey. They did chip down Nonik a little bit at the beginning of the round from that mid push, so We'll see if that plays a factor later on. Smoke's out on Catwalk, and the bomb is over there as well. So we'll see where they decide to go for France, but they're falling back from this now. Potentially back towards Long. And that looks like what it's going to be. And Twist is over here with a M4 in hand. He's playing relatively aggressive behind the barrels outside of the doors. Now he's going to start to fall back towards pit. So this is going to be a good positioning for him. We saw how he was able to open up from the T side onto the pit player, but that flashbang is going to be on point, pushes him back. Now Twist has got it all to do. He's going to be able to find the first one, looking for the second, going to be able to find it, going for the third. He does the damage, and Simphis is going to be there with the AWP, and the long push has been shut down.
Simphis as well, he's going to be looking for the third, but Mistu at least finding a headshot here. It's still that 1 versus 3, but unfortunately for him, there's 25 seconds left, and the bomb is nowhere to be found. Davey looking to take the initiative all on his lonesome, and that's going to be the last one for Canada. Now, what was really interesting in that situation is that when that first cap push was pushed back from France, Canada expected a long push. They rotate 3 players over, they've got 3 men nearby, and because France never come out, they actually bring a man back towards CT. This leaves Twist alone in the pit at the beginning of the situation, and if he had not found that 2.5 frags, that could have definitely panned out differently. But Canada find it, and now they have double the score of France as they look to bounce into this one with some armor, with some Tech 9s, a bit of utility to play with, but they're going to have to come up big.
Yeah, and let's bear in mind that this is France's map pick as well. I mean, after this is all said and done, we're going to go on to Canada's map pick, which is Cash.
Yeah.
So if Canada can steal away the map from France, then they're looking on a potential 2-0 run and a berth into the semis. So this is a really good look for Canada if they're able to close out this match. As of right now, they're going to get a pretty golden opportunity. We saw how damaging these pistols were a couple of rounds ago from France, but as of right now, I think that Canada is expecting more of a vanilla buy from the Frenchmen, as you see an MP9 and a UMP on the board. The mobility from France, it looks like they're gearing up to push out through middle, and this could find great success. Android is over there in B along with Daps. So we'll see if they can thwart this push.
I mean, France doing a very good job of just burning down some time. They had 3 smoke grenades, and now with 2 of them already expended, they will be able to use this mid to B. So it's going to be down to Canada. Hold the line. Android underneath the window, and Daps exposed over towards tunnels. It's going to be Android now looking to find the frags, but it's only France across the kill feed as they even kill one of their own.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame that Daps wasn't able to find anything from that position. That's a really strong spot to be in for a tunnel push. They must have cleared it out after Davies' shenanigans on the pistol round, and as of right now, I mean, look at the economy swing. An AK in the hands, an MP9, only 1 frag on the board for Canada. This is going to be very difficult for them to retake. I honestly wouldn't be surprised with the round cushion that they have if they fall back from this and hang on to their weapons. And you can see, I mean, Twist is all the way outside of the tunnels right now. And with Mistu going down, this is going to be very difficult. And Keo, he was playing that lurk down in the B tunnels at the beginning of that in Upper Dark, and he's just going to swing all the way around and finds the frag on the Simphis. So this puts Twist in a position where he has to save, and he's only got a UMP. So it's a little bit of a lackluster save at that, but France will finally find themselves another round, and that's actually their first round in the second half that they've been able to find.
So that's why they need to avoid the reset. First and foremost, they need to find consecutive rounds, as Canada did, right? We saw from there that absolute shift in momentum comes off the back of 2 consecutive victories. France need to replicate that exact experience, or else they're in for a world of horror. But Canada, of course, only having some pistols with a bit of Kevlar could lend itself to France indeed. Mistu as well with the first opening kill. That's an early man advantage versus the force buy of Canada.
Yeah, that was actually the armored Twist who saved last round with the UMP. Davey does manage to salvage that, and he also picks up the kit that was on Twist as well. So bear that in mind if things do get a little dicey here at the end of the round, which it doesn't look like they will as Keo takes down Daps in Upper Dark. But if it does, that kit could play into things, but now the kit's lost. So I'm just going to shut up and stop talking about the kit because it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, France also finding themselves over towards the A site. Nobody left to hold it. Simphis here towards the bottom of mid, keeping his eye on tunnels as Android does confirm the clear, and he's pinned down. Keo already sitting here. The frag grenade not going to be helping things out. XMS finds the kill, and it just leaves Android all alone.
Yeah, and that's a name that we haven't actually been able to say. I mean, aside from that 2K on long A in defense of that A bomb site in the first half, Android had a relatively quiet map. Or at least it's one of those like Reddit memes where you never hear about an Android frag, but for some reason he always ends up at the top of the scoreboard.
He's going to be cleared out of this one. We did see him, of course, yesterday versus Denmark have a very strong hold over toward that B site. Playing it with his site mate incredibly well. That's what he will be looking for if he needs to get himself to the top of the scoreboard. But Not that round. Obviously, Canada not going to be too disappointed with the outcome as they were certainly on the back foot. Mistu, again, taking a player down early does kind of screw up Canada's chance of even finding anything whatsoever, and then a pick on the opposite side of the ramp as well. So easy 5v3, convert the point. France looking to do another on towards the board as Canada again faced with only pistols.
Yeah, but they still have that 4-round lead. Things are going to get tightened up a little bit more after this is all said and done, but they have an opportunity from France to get closer and closer to that double-digit mark, start reeling in Canada and start stringing those rounds together, and like you said, get that good economy going for themselves, because you saw all it took was one round on the board for France because they were taking so many guns out of the hands of Canada throughout. I mean, you remember that secondary round after the pistol round loss that they brought out the Deagles and they were able to do so much damage. Comes down to that 1 versus 1.
Mistu just spotted the player. That's going to be Semphis spotted here. He was the player on the site, and now France going to execute off of that. They're assuming he's going to be nearby, but he has dropped down towards the elevator. Nodek with the first headshot. Down goes Twist. Still a 4 versus 5, but France finding an easy bomb plant.
You know, all these Molotovs just raining, carpet bombing that A bomb site, and there's nowhere for Semphis to even stand, so he has to bail out of the site and give it to him. He is in a good position, though. He's going to be able to find one. Looking for a second, not going to be able to find it, and as Daps has fallen back through Upper Dark, he's going to get caught by XMS. And Fuchs onto Davey, leaves just Android in a 1 versus 4. If he hustles through the tunnels, he might be able to catch out XMS. Jumping around, there you go, that's a nice shot. Only 2 HP, but still, that's a tough shot to hit.
At that distance.
Yeah, that's a tough shot to hit, especially with the RNG of the Deagle.
And the Lidge to clip over top of, so. Android has gotten himself over here towards the T-spawn. Mistu going to be trying to force him out because he needs to grab that AK if he wants it, and he has been able to retrieve it. So do France try to push this issue? They have 2 ops to lose here. I think at this point they just give him his little piece.
Ooh, they caught somebody at the end. Not sure who it was.
That's a shame.
Not sure who it was. It's a little bit of a bummer that we didn't get to see that, but we'll figure it out here in a second because if the CTs have an AK going into this round, we know who won the duel.
Yeah, exactly.
But for now, this is going to be the buy down from the Canadian side. And Android has an AK, so he won that fight. So triple ops setup for France. There's 5 out of 10 players on the server right now with ops in hand.
I mean, that's obviously kind of going to be indicative of the pace of this round.
We didn't even know France had 1 op.
Yeah, exactly. So now with 3. Mistu looking to find the pick over here towards the B site, but it's Davey with an op of his own to take down the first. And now Canada have put themselves in the advantage exactly where they need to be if they look to take the momentum back.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where the analyst has talked about it. Davey, who used to be a main opper for a brief period of time, he's a very capable opper. He was quite good with it when he was actually maining that. And there you go. I mean, he gets the opening pick on Mistu, who's been giving them a lot of trouble since he started to kind of catch fire with that op. And now we're going to see the man advantage for Canada. So they're looking to prevent France from resetting their economy once again. And this is a great start to the round for them, finding that opening pick. And again, I mean, 2 ops and 2 AKs. The mobility is not that high for France, so the execution is going to be heavily pick-based. And with Twist locking down Nonick on Catwalk, that's the heavy fragger for France. He's going to be able to cordon off an entire area of attack, and you can see how that player falls back because the bomb was there, but Semphis, 1-tap, dirt nap, XMS finds it, and now they're going to start to push up on long A.
Now Daps, he's going to be next to the smoke. There's a bit of a dink here as Twist finds it through, and Daps clears things out. So a 4 versus 2 as the last 2 oppers try to find themselves with a bomb plant. They've got 30 seconds. Unfortunately for them, however, Canada has been able to slow them down, and with this array of grenades just volleying on over, it's France to lose another. Android with the headshot, and that's the clean from Twist. Again, excellently holding this catwalk area and rotating back to help his players on the long play.
That was a nice shot from XMS. Semphis just getting a little impatient there, tries to take the peek on long. They didn't really have eyes on long from any position, so he has to take a little bit of a gamble there, and he gets punished for it. But Canada ultimately only losing 1 player that last round. They salvaged the AWP, so they're going to maintain their double op setup. But the couple of rounds that France was able to win, they're going to have the economy to go forward into this one, and full nade kits on all of their players as well. So this is still a very dangerous round for Canada, as lots of utility is going to be thrown out towards this B tunnels to try to pull a distraction. You can see the bomb working its way into lower dark for the time being.
Davey's still in the back of the plat, once more finding the opening kill with that AWP. This time it's Keo out of the equation. So France at least still do have an AWP of their own, which means of course they can use him to try and jack open one of these sites as a can opener, so to speak. Mistu out from mid, looking for the angle, but Davey's also waiting, and if XMS doesn't time this properly, he will be able to drop while Mistu's unable to trade the frag. Davey hits him through the edge, down to only 18, but he is still standing.
Yeah, and Mistu in the meantime finds Semphis over at A, so Android's got to get aggressive in one other avenue of the map, and he's going to take the duel, and Fuchs is going to win that. Now on the back plat is going to be Davey. He's switching up his position. Unfortunately, not able to hit the shot on Nonik. Nonik can't land the bullets, though. He's going to go down, and Davey with an opportunity, at least one more. But unfortunately, he will finally fall, and that's going to leave it in a man advantage now for France as they push in towards this B-bomb site to try to get this bomb down. And coming around from T-spawn is actually Twist. They've got an opportunity, and no plant just yet. And Mistu, he's a little weary of this flank to come out. He misses the timing, gets the flick, though. Beautiful shot from him, and that leaves Daps in a 1v3. And again, he's going to get tapped down from XMS. So Canada picking up the round before that, but losing that is going to be very, very detrimental to their economy. And we'll see if they're formulating any kind of a buy going forward here in a moment.
It's unfortunate, of course, that Android's not able to capitalize on all those players being not only grouped together, but also with nades in hand. Unfortunately, as he kind of taps shots once or twice, they're able to reel back, get those guns back in their hands, and then deny his entry. So unfortunately, Canada falling on the B site, and now France with another one up on towards it. Double digits for both teams, and again, it is Canada with only pistols.
Yeah, this is what we expected to see into this matchup, though. Very, very close between these two squads, and this push into upper tunnels. It should be a spray down from Nonik, but he gets nothing. He does tremendous damage onto Android, but he can't find the frag. XMS and Keo able to rectify that, trading 2-for-1 for the time being, but that smoke into lower B is going to at least hold Daps back for the moment. Doesn't want to push through that and just voluntarily give his life away, but Twist has salvaged an AK. See if he can do any damage with this into the round, but for the time being, Canada with that early find, see what they can do with it now.
I mean, Mistu's also rotated themselves all the way over here towards long. He spotted the players pushing in, but he's trying to reel backwards here. Daps going to be finding one, and that's 2 players down. Mistu also still isolated, and he's in the 1v2 here. Luckily for France, he finds them both, and that was huge. A 2 versus 3 to the 2 versus 1. That's going to be pushing Twist back to save.
Yeah, he's going to fall all the way back to B, and I'm actually a little curious about Android. Was it just a lack of comms, or was it just maybe a sound cue or something like that he didn't check that corner? Because the trajectory of that nade that came around from the barrel side, they had to have known that a player was either deep in the corner or had fallen back into pit, and he just barreled out towards the corner of long. A little bit spurious about that for the time being, but again, France recovered. They find themselves another round on the board, and we should see a buy down here from the Canadian side, and it looks like we do. And this was just a little sloppy from Nonik, a little unfortunate considering he's been the top fragger for the France side. But Mistu, those double kills at long, and here it is, an AK salvage from Twist, the buy down from the rest of them, and it's going to be the single up setup for the France side.
Semphis as well holding a very passive angle in towards mid. XMS looking to apply some early pressure. He did have support in the form of 3 other players, bomb included, towards that B-ton. So had they gotten an initial opening, we can assume, of course, that they would have tried to execute into the site where Canada are currently holding not only 2 players, but that close man on towards mid. Canada, however, spreading themselves all across the map, and they have left Cat open. But France has yet to capitalize on the opportunity. Still plenty of time for them to do as they please.
And Semphis watching middle with the AWP, rattles off a shot. They know that he is playing over there, and actually look at the way that Canada is playing this. They've got 3 players over towards B. Are they thinking about maybe going aggressive in one of these avenues? They've got 1 player there, XMS, behind the boxes on the side of the B tunnels, and I think Semphis knows this. That's such a tight angle to hold. If he jumps across, he's unlikely to hit that shot. And I say that, and then he'll end up hitting it, but for the time being, look at this Android getting a little aggressive. That flash is so good, and XMS is going to capitalize, and Semphis was even blinded up enough that he's not able to get the trade. So France going to find the early man advantage again into this round. 40 seconds left on the clock, a lot to do, and the bomb in T spawn, but it is starting to move its way around towards that B bomb site, which they think might be weakened. But there are 2 players still over in that area.
Fortunately, now they're both heading out towards mid. Daps going to be looking to lead the charge in towards the doors. Of course, that presence on Catwalk could have pulled them away as France simultaneously get the kill on B, but also get the information that A site's clear. Now, Semphis has rotated in, and he's going to have to come up big. He finds himself the first. Fuchs able to trade frag back. It's still a 4 versus 3 man advantage for France, but there's only 5 seconds left on the clock. The bomb will go down, and so now it's the retake inbound. 2 kits, Daps and Twist, Molotov and a smoke, and a frag for Daps as well. Equalized out here as the shot is missed. Mistu unable to capitalize while Davey takes another. Nonik trading back. It's a 1v2. Twist late through the doors, trying to come on forward, but he is denied. Nonik answering back with a double frag and another round for France.
Yeah, now they pull within 1 of the lead that Canada had. And again, I mean, Canada they're not able to get too much. You can see Simphis on his screen buying up a P250, so this is likely another save from the Canadian side. And this was a situation that Canada put France in the first half. After rattling off a couple of rounds in a row, they finally broke the economy with a couple of round wins. And because of that, they were in that buy, lose, save, just rinse and repeat round after round. And that is a nice start here. XMS, they're going to be able to just brute force tactics into that B bomb site, completely obliterate both of the players from Canada. Daps and Android hit the dirt in a free bomb site here from France.
I mean, Keo still over here towards long. We've got Semphis nearby, so if Canada do try to push 2 players through, it's going to be met with resistance. But if they're able to trade frag, they can maybe grab an AK, something to, of course, just cushion their next purchase. But as the bomb goes down, it's definitely going to be France to win this one. They should never allow Canada anything in this situation, really. But Davies over here towards Catwalk, and as Keo inches his way forward, he does find himself another headshot, which means long is clear. Semphis comes on wide with his teammate nearby, but neither of them finding anything.
Yeah, and unfortunately they're not. Ooh, all right.
Damn.
XMS dinked down from all the way from T-spawn. It's like shooting a water pistol at a brick wall that doesn't really do all that much damage. Another dink goes out. Twist is able to find decent damage, and Nonik is going to be down on 7 HP. But finally, Dust2 coming around from double doors does clean up Semphis, and 5 alive for France. It's all tied up 13-13. We are coming down to the wire here. We're 26 out of the 30 regulation rounds on the board. And it's going to be very, very difficult for Canada. I mean, they've dropped so many rounds in a row now that for them to be able to recover into this one, they need to start really pulling out all the stops.
I mean, this is exactly what we expected between these two teams. We said it was going to be close. We said it was going to be interesting, and it has not disappointed as of yet. Oh, we're getting to the wire, but Dust2 cleaning up there, the final kill, and now it's guns once more for Canada. So it's going to be a double op setup once again between Semphis and Davey. Nonik already outside on the B side. He spots Davey, gets the kill. It's refrag back by Daps. Semphis still up by Cat. He's met nothing as of yet, but France still does have a lot of mid presence, and Twist is going to react accordingly, falling back towards the cross near the CT spawn if need be. And France just looking for some information here inside of the doors.
Yeah, no smoke down on CT spawn. Twist is in a vulnerable position here as he is on the slope, the A slope, trying to make his way up towards that A bomb site. And he does have Semphis up here on Catwalk. Fuchs going to present himself. The shot is going to rattle wide. He's not going to be able to connect on that one, so the man advantage not going either way just yet. It's a 1-for-1 trade over the B bomb site to open things up, but as of right now, the smoke comes out on Cat. That's going to hold France back for a little while longer. And Semphis is going to join up with Twist at long A. He's going to play from the car position. We saw how powerful that position can be. And Twist at long, he's been able to pop some heads from that position in previous rounds. So for now, the bomb is rotating back around through lower dark towards that B bomb site, and they might have found a little bit of an opening, a little bit of a ripple in the Canadian defenses towards B, because they've been hitting this and hitting it pretty hard the last couple of rounds.
The thing is as well is that they're doing this perfect time retake. You see how they still have a player up towards Catwalk. That's keeping the attention of Canada on towards A. Again, Daps gives up his positioning to the back of the site and to his demise, because the moment France falls from Catwalk, they execute into B, and once more they're going to be finding themselves with the control of the site, a bomb plant, and an after plant scenario.
Yeah, and with the man advantage in the favor of the T side of France, this is going to be an extremely difficult retake from Canada. You can see they're already falling back from this one. They want to hang on to their rifles. They're going to give up tie point to France. They're going to go up to 14 rounds now. Still a little bit of time left into this one. Android getting a parting gift at the end of the round just to take down Fuchs, but I mean, the money is rolling for the French side, and Canada, they need to hold on to all of these rifles to the end of this round, especially that AWP on Semphis. He needs to start hitting these shots and start locking this one down. But XMS coming around from long A at the end of this one could potentially come around the corner and find a frag, but he's going to be peeking out and know that there's going to be 3 players in his face.
So he reels back.
Yeah,
at least takes a bit of a chance there, tries to push the envelope and plays it intelligently. But again, France is able to use this rotation, utilizing it perfectly to take that B site. It's become a pattern at this point. We've noticed it. It's time for Canada to notice it. If not, it could very well be France exploiting that to the end, because it is round 28. Only 3 left to play, and France back into the lead. They haven't been here for a while, but they've managed to take it back, Mega Man.
And here's the thing. I mean, we talked about France where it was Nonik leading the charge by a substantial amount of frags over the rest of his team. And no, frags aren't everything, but when you've got one player that's running away from the rest of your team, something isn't going right. And now, if you look at the scoreboard, almost everybody in the server is even up on frags. You can look at it across the board. It's very, very tight between all of them. 20, 21, 20, 22 down to 19 for the French side. So everybody's starting to contribute. Everybody's starting to pull their weight. And this is what you want to see when you've got a 28-round brawl You know, it's it's beautiful to see everybody starting to come alive a little bit. Everybody's doing their jobs.
And while those frags are also incredibly close, what's notable of a difference is that Mistu's deaths are still down towards 13.
Yeah.
That's substantially less than the rest of his team. So while everybody's getting their kills, it's he who's always seems finding himself alive, which is exactly what they need if these rounds do come down to the wire. So again, it is just France playing it slowly and Canada lying in wait. They have 3 players over towards the A site, but again, do they rotate players off once France start to apply themselves here to the top of Catwalk?
Well, see, that's the catch-22, right? They've been faking Catwalk so many times and hitting towards B that eventually one of these times they're actually going to hit Catwalk. And you might see the CT side of Canada pull the defense off. But Mistu, beautiful shot up over the top. That gets some applause from a Canadian on that one. So beautiful job from him. He gets up on top of the smoke, finds the pick onto Simphis. And look at this, they reel back. Like you said, they fall back off a Catwalk. They're going to push out. It's going to be Daps to try to lock this down, but Fuchs does get the trade. So it's a 2-for-1 favoring the terrorist side of France. But Android is over here, finds one. Going to be looking for another, but it's going to be XMS playing ring around the rosy with that window. He's going to be able to put the favor back into the French side.
But they've left the bomb outside the door, so Davey actually has a very real chance here. He needs to catch both these players in transition, and he gets the first, but the fire burns him. It's just going to leave Twist here in a 1 versus 2. Now, Mistu on the back of the plat. He's got the angle, and he grabs the frag. That round right there, this boost, Mistu going over the top of the smoke. France had done that play with that smoke so many times, but never had they used the verticality to their advantage. They use it here when it matters most, and now they've put themselves so incredibly close to victory.
Yeah, what a round-changing frag right there. I mean, and you saw immediately, they get the kill, they fall right back, and they hit B. And with that being said, I mean, this is a pretty miserable buy. They do have the up on Simphis. He's able to at least tag Mistu, but he goes into lower B. What a flick from him. He almost gets the no-scope onto Keo, but he does get traded out eventually. So the over-aggression is going to be his demise in the long run.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, right? But at least at that point, he is committed to the tunnels. He's not able to fall back through mid, and he knows, of course, that any Frenchmen in the upper are going to fall down upon him. So props to Simphis for having the confidence to take that fight and nearly actually grabbing a second kill as well. So Mistu is tagged down to 21. Of course, the man advantage to the favor, or excuse me, the advantage to the favor of France is they are on the T side with the 4 versus 4 and Twist still with only that 5-7, but there is still utility for Canada to play with if they want to try and control the pace of at which France can take the map. But slowly and certainly, France work their way. They've got 3 players out towards long now, and they're looking to push the issue. And meanwhile, with still Kia over towards B, but Mistu unscoping at the unperfect time. Davey taking the kill. 4v2 now.
Yeah, and Android able to find Keo, so Canada finally breathing a little bit of life into this round. They're able to find the advantage, 2-man to be exact, but Fuchs with a nice shot onto Davey, a little overexposed back default, and he's going to get punished for that one, and now it's going to be only a man advantage for Canada. And if France can walk away with this 2v4 to close out this map, that's going to be a little bit of a morale, you know, belting from them onto the Canadian side.
Yeah, but at least in this situation, of course, they are able to rotate 2 players towards long. So we see, of course, the man inside of CT just lying in wait and patiently giving the chance for Canada to get into position to retake. Now, XMS and Fuchs both falling back towards Cat, and the bomb not necessarily planted for them. So this is an interesting after-plant situation. Now Android going to be making the front cross. It's XMS and Fuchs nearby, but Daps takes the trade. It's down to the 1v1. Both players spraying wildly, and Fuchs gets it in the end. That, of course, a 4K in the round to take his team into victory, and France, despite being at a major disadvantage, grind their way to take their map pick, heading forward 1-0 into cash.
Yeah, that was from a 12-2 deficit for them as well. And they just start grinding the rounds. They start breaking the economy from the CT side from Canada. And you see how much of an impact that has. They don't have the arsenal of grenades to hold back the pushes. They don't have the firepower. They've got to save every other round. A really difficult and trepidatious situation for them to be in overall. And what a comeback from France. I mean, like I said, they were down by 6 rounds at one point, and they managed to chip away, grind out the rounds, and they make it happen.
I mean, as we said on the desk, as we've been saying kind of all tournament long, that this was going to be an interesting match, and it didn't fail to present exactly that. So
I'm not disappointed at all.
It's intense to think that I mean, after even being at that deficit, they've managed to find themselves all the way in. It's incredible. It just goes to show a lot of resilience, a lot of skill, and just composure.
Yeah, the poise. And that's where that veteranship from Kiyoshima can really shine, where he can keep his team calm, he can keep them relaxed, he can keep them making sure that they're not doing anything too brazen, make sure that they just, you know, grind out the rounds. We know what we need to do. Let's just go and do it. And they did, and that was a beautiful thing to see. But Dust2 being the pick of France and that being that close is might be a little bit worrisome going on to Cash, because France, they've played Cash before. They narrowly beat, I believe it was Tunisia on that 16-14.
Exactly.
And Tunisia, remember, that was a team that actually went through the entire tournament, didn't manage to win a map.
Yeah, so for it to be that close just kind of goes to show it's tight.
Yeah, very, very tight. But I believe we're going to be throwing this over to a quick commercial break while we get ready for map number 2, guys. So we will be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We've got Canada and France map number 2, Cash, coming up after the break.